Hey guys, I'd love to say that this is our new workshop car for Carnage, but it's not. I've only had it for a week. This is the Ford Ranger Raptor. This is the new Raptor, the next gen, and it is amazing. I've got to say, like I said, I've had it for a week and I'm in love with this car. I wish I could keep it. Maybe we can convince Ford into giving one long term, but yeah, what's not to like? It's got a twin turbo V6 petrol, so no more diesels. I've been driving around in diesels for the last 3 years, and as much fun as that's been, nothing quite beats the thrust of a twin turbo petrol. 292 kilowatts, 583 Newton meters of torque. It is the fastest dual cab on the market, I've got no doubt. I don't know what the exact figures are for it down the quarter mile, but I know Zane at Max Performance has been playing with his for a bit, and he's already running 13.5 down the quarter at 100 mile an hour. And he hasn't touched the motor or anything like that. That's purely like he mucked around with the airbox, put some slightly lighter wheels and tires on it. And yes, already running mid-13s. That's quicker than all the muscle cars of the days gone by. So it's pretty impressive. But look at the thing, how can you not be impressed? It's massive, massive wheels and tires. Zane's got the bead lock option on his, and each wheel and tire is 45 kilos by itself. These ones I think are slightly lighter, but still, it's a big unit. I'll pop the bonnet, not that it's too exciting under there, other than the fact it makes 292 kilowatts. That's like 390 horsepower in the old language. And of course, the bonnet release is on this side for whatever reason. So it is decidedly unsexy under the bonnet. I mean, they didn't even furnish it with an engine cover at all. And yeah, so it is what it is. A lot of hoses, a lot of pipes, a lot of wires. Throttle body there in the middle, turbos down either side. It looks like a shorter version of a Coyote motor, to be honest, under all thatness. But yeah, it certainly makes the power. I'm impressed, man. When you drive these things, they go. They seriously do go. And that is impressive in itself, because it's got to be 2.5 ton. I mean, this is not a lightweight vehicle in any way. So yeah, and as much as I'd like to say there's plenty of room for a barrow in there, I mean, this Ecoboost V6 actually goes all right. I'd be interested to play with one of these engines down the track and see what sort of power we could get out of one, because like I said, 3 litre twin turbo V6 is obviously a pretty stout little motor. The boost gauge on the dash, while it's measured in bar and it's very like 1 bar, 2 bar, you know, 1.5 bar seems to be kind of the point, which is what, 20 pounds of boost? Love to put a boost gauge on it to find out what the exact figure is, but yeah, it feeds a bit of boost into it. And you know, Ford has a habit of detuning their stuff, so you would think a lot more power is achievable. However, they do have some back to base technology, which is going to make things difficult for a while. There's a computer in the dash that talks back to base, and if it senses that you've been mucking around with it, it'll brick it, so that's not a great thing. However, yeah, makes good power, good torque. So let's have a look at some of the other stuff. Well, that shuts very solidly. Love the colour too. You're not going to hide anywhere with this thing. Certainly out in the bush, you're not going to lose it. And it is something you can take bush. It's got diff locks. It's got a 10-speed auto. It's got several driving modes, one of which is the Baja mode, which isn't kind of street legal. I will fire it up and we'll switch it to Baja mode, and you'll hear why it's not really street legal. But yeah, it's got plenty of room. I love that the tailgate doesn't just fall down. It's like 2 fingers. 1 finger. There we go. 1 finger. You can lift it up. It's got like a little torsion bar there to help you with the tailgate. It's got a bed liner. We've already had an engine in the back of this thing. You know, we've been using it for what we need utes to use. And yeah, we had our new V6 stroker motor in the back of this thing. Carried it easy. Hasn't damaged anything. It's a pretty solid unit. It's got 2.5 ton towing capacity. Like I said, massive tyres. You're not going to get booked because they're standard. And a very solid side step. It's not bending under my weight. So I've worked out there's 2 ways to get in this car. There's the kind of sort of hop up and bum shuffle, or actually use the side step. And I think using the side step is actually better. But yeah, there's plenty of room this thing. And gonna start for me? No, there we go. Look at the size of the screen. It's 12.4 inches. It's massive. The thing's quite loud. It's quite a, you know, so you've heard what it's like on startup. It's a little bit louder than, and then it settles down into this kind of more street legal noise. I've got to say I'm not a fan of the shifter being, because I kind of rest my leg against the console, and sometimes, you know, if you've got your leg pulled back, you know, your leg's pushing against the shifter, which isn't my favourite thing. It doesn't have a proper handbrake. It's only got electric sort of park brake thing. So you just got to switch that off. Now it's on. There we go. Now it's off. Just these things, you know, that modern cars, there's a whole bunch of different pockets and glove boxes and cup holders. Quite a nice suede material, which I'm hoping it'll be long lasting. It actually feels quite nice. How it's going to feel once it's got 100,000 Ks and dirt all over it, I don't know. Up here you've got a bunch of auxiliary switches. They're not wired to anything just yet, but they're preset, so you can wire things in like light bars and winches and all that sort of stuff. Of course, you can put your sunnies up there as well. Seats are really cool, lots of side bolstering, really nice inside. Pretty big console, you know, and it's got a phone charger pad here. So basically you throw your phone down here and it will charge it wirelessly, which is brilliant. I have so much trouble with my phone cords and my phone just charging. So just to be able to throw my phone down there and have it charge in the car with no wires is just fantastic. It's groundbreaking to an old guy like me. So yeah, I gotta say, I really dig this thing and I would like to keep it. So I figure, why don't we take it out for a drive? So we just got to pop over and see Adam from MPW, got to give him a present. But yeah, it's good enough excuse for a drive. Let's go for a drive. The reverse camera looks really good too. And I love this function too that shows you basically everything around you. The top down feature is just amazing. Look how good and how clear the reverse camera is. It's amazing. So when you fire up your Raptor, it will default to four-wheel drive auto, which is kind of a high range auto, just general driving mode, which is basically the mode I've been driving around in all week, mainly because it has been wet as hell, you know. Melbourne's been doing Melbourne things, as it does, and it's been this kind of the safest mode to drive around in. But it gets going. So we've switched over into the two-wheel drive mode at the moment. Now in the four-wheel drive auto mode, I've been averaging 13 litres per 100 Ks, that's 13.0 litres per 100 Ks, so it's not terrible. I mean, you think big pickup with a petrol engine, you think, you know, it's going to chew some juice. Well, it's actually not too bad. And it carves up the traffic, no problem at all. For those that like to do it yourself, the car also comes with flappy paddles, so although it has defaulted to drive mode there. But it drives really nice, this thing, I've got to say. Just does everything well. It's kind of my favourite of all the dual cab pickups at the moment. I mean, it's fast, powerful, it's roomy, it's got everything that you need, and yeah, the only problem with it, it's not in my driveway and it costs about $85,000. So I'm unlikely to afford one anytime soon. However, Ford, if you've got any spares, we could certainly use a workshop truck. It would be very nice. So, that's the Raptor, the Ford Ranger Raptor. It's amazing. It's got all the fruit, lane keeping, adaptive cruise control. I love the fact that you don't even have to touch the cruise control. You switch it on and it knows where the speed zones is and just automatically, you know, if you go into an 80k zone, it drops it to 80k's. If you go into a 110 zone, it raises it to 110. How good's that? But yeah, I love it. I want it. I can't afford it, but that's okay. One of you guys can, I'm sure. So yeah, if you're looking for a dual cab pickup that's got a bit of snot, this might be your car. Unfortunately, we were going to do a little bit longer of a review on it, but Melbourne is doing Melbourne things and we can't really put this thing through its paces in these conditions. So that is the Ford Ranger Raptor. Go test drive one now.